Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, let's talk about the terrible and problematic orgone. Since the inventor of some bizarre energy that was called orgonite, Carl Hans Wells, has died at the ripe old age of 77. And his wife died 5 years earlier than him, which has been alleged to me she was in her 60s. Great life-affirming energy, huh? But, I've been warning people about orgone and its type of energy out there for many, many years. It's really been a fraud, and, Carl Hans Wells originally was a semi-partner with me when I started out many years of the Guild of Sorcery. That's about 35 years ago, and I had problems with him and had to throw him out of the organization because of his evil, dark ways. He was the first one to try and translate the Book of Faust, a satanic book that he brought with him from his satanic country of Austria. And was a serious person who wouldn't do anything, stabbed you in the back. He expected me to make all sorts of money for him while he did absolutely nothing. I ended up writing my own translation of that book and putting it out as it was. But the bottom line is that we need to talk about this whole orgone ridiculousness that has been taking this country for about 30 years now. And, to even use the term orgone when you're not using the technology as was discovered by, or the energy discovered by, Wilhelm Reich, who, by the way, happens to be another Austrian. It's interesting that I'm sure he got some sort of books there or whatever he did to figure out what Wilhelm Reich. But, to use these two guys' names next to each other is an insult, because Wilhelm Reich was quite an interesting and studied person. He studied under Freud, who was very much into energies. He figured out how to release sexual energies, and orgone means orgasm, which, how does that equate to anything? So the whole idea is that's what he named it after, because basically Wilhelm Reich was a sexually possessed person, and he spent most of his life involved in sexual liberation organizations and different sexual techniques, etc. So he was very much sexually possessed and studied, as I said, with Freud and came up with things. Now, I think that orgone is very fascinating. I think it's very interesting. There certainly is a lot of ifs, ands, and maybes about it that is interesting. The cloudbuster technology, how you can point these kind of bizarre orgone cannons into the sky and could potentially disrupt what's happening up there, including UFOs. But he also had a particular type of cloud busting where he could dissipate clouds or even make it rain greater by using what is really a very simple natural environment accumulator system. Now, orgone is very interesting, and of course we don't really know anything. He was persecuted, thrown in prison, and never really recovered from that. I think he died in prison. So he was highly persecuted because he came out and started to state that he could cure cancer. Well, that's a great way to put a noose around your neck. And I don't know what kind of proof he had or not, but when you do that, masses of dying people who are desperate come to you, and you make a lot of money. So there is certain legalities against that for a good reason. But people are desperate. And of course, then it's abused by the major medical companies, who are the only people that have the right to offer anything. And if you come out and say this can be helpful or not, but I don't think even doctors should be making claims. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. And that's really what you should sign a paper to, that, this is a practice. It's a medical practice. That means we haven't gotten it right. We're still practicing. So, you go to baseball practice. So, because you're practicing something. So, and there is still a small survivability rate from a lot of cancers. Some have improved, some haven't. It's still a pit of darkness and hell that costs you a fortune. And the medical companies, or the drug companies, and the doctors, too many people let them off, and the hospitals who make billions and billions of dollars like Blue Shield, Blue Cross, who make billions in profit. Not millions, billions. So let's make sure everybody is named here. So we don't know the efficiency of this because everybody's always suppressed. So we just don't know if this worked or not. But let's define what orgone accumulation was about. And first of all, it's accumulation. It means you accumulate something. So you're pulling it in and accumulating. So understand what that word means. You are not generating anything. So to use terms like chi generator, orgone generator, this is a lie. It's misstating it. They're accumulators. And of course, the people who make this orgone like to use the term generator. That's like a chi generator. Chi is a body energy. You don't generate chi. You can't make chi. You bring in energies and you accumulate chi. You're not generating it. Another misnomer, but words are important. And when they're trying to defraud you and sell you a bunch of stuff that doesn't work, people use all sorts of strange terms. The other problem is that with orgone and all of it is that really it's a joke technology. People are getting resin and they're putting stones in there. They're putting things that Wilhelm Reich told you not to, which is copper. You never use copper in anything to accumulate orgone. He specifically stated this. Does anybody read his books? The Orgone Accumulator Handbook by the greatest researcher in that particular field. I think it's Mayo. I always forget. Mayo, I'm not sure what it was. Has a whole chapter on the toxicity of orgone accumulation. And stated that, maybe you could do it in the 50s, but you can't do it now. And it does make sense. Our environment is highly toxic. It's filled with radiation and pollution. If you're accumulating from the atmosphere, which is what you do with orgone, you have a serious problem of toxicity. Now, probably the best person in this field to ever put out technology like this was Hieronymus. So Hieronymus had what they called cosmic pipes. A cosmic pipe was similar to this accumulator type stuff that was out there, and they had to be ripped out of the ground because they accumulated huge amounts of radioactivity. Because they were sucking it in from the atmosphere, and it's everywhere. All of our nuclear power plants are leaking. So if you're accumulating anything from the atmosphere and can't figure out how to filter it, you got a real problem. And orgone is filthy. Secondly, orgone was accumulated in a very particular fashion by the person who discovered it. Certainly, this is not what orgonite is, which is basically a powder, and I had someone tell me what was in there. The powder is accumulation of several things, including what is considered white gold, the Egyptian powders, and so forth. Well, there isn't enough accumulation here to do much of anything anyway, but, it's a little bit of an amplifier. But if it's accumulating orgone, it's accumulating toxicity. So if you have one of these tools, little pyramids, whatever, you've got a little toxic amount of energy you're generating there if you're accumulating what it claims it does. Now, these little resin pyramids and everything else don't really do that. They don't accumulate anything. The only effect you're really getting is the fact that they're a pyramid shape. We played with these for years when it was more popular. If people thought they were getting something great, and there's BBs in there, and there's a crystal or so. Well, this is extremely low level. The energy you're really getting is from the pyramid shape. But of course, Wilhelm Reich never used pyramid-shaped items. He made boxes and other things, which was basically a layer of material. Steel wool, kind of what you scrub your pots with, and pure wool from animals. So he layered these literally by the hundreds and was able to accumulate what he considered orgasm energy, which is kind of bizarre, but this was what orgone was named after. And this was supposed to help people. And again, we just don't know. I don't believe one side or the other. I don't know if his research was valid or not. I don't care what his books say. I don't care what his supporters say. We don't know. And I'm a strong believer in people having the right to these types of treatments. Now, as we know from the very noted, publicized, and glamorized placebo effect, that if you sit in a box and you think you're getting healed, that this will help a lot of people. The medical industry is doing this today. They give you little pills, and some of this, they even have tried this strategy to give a person a pill and say, this is nothing. It's not going to help you at all. They take the pill and they cure themselves. You figure that out. They're having fake operations. They actually put you on a gurney, take you into the operating room, put you out. They'll even cut on you a little bit to have a scar, and this is curing people. This is the placebo effect. Now, personally, I don't believe in that effect. I don't think that works. They claim this is amazing. I don't believe it. I've gotten placebo effects myself, but they generally don't last if you're really sick, after 3 weeks of, I'm getting better, I feel better, I'm not better. So after that third week, you hit your flat on your face, you fall down because you're not better. You're going on fake belief systems, and that doesn't change physical matter if you don't empower it. But fake results don't give you fake healing. I mean, they do give you fake healing. They don't give you real healing, I should say. So we all need to understand that and understand what all these placebo things are. So it seems to me if this placebo effect is so strong that all of these people making all of these products, including Orgone, were getting good results because people were thinking themselves well. They were triggering in their inner being that this heals me, I'm going to be healed, and it works. Well, as I said, I'm not a firm believer in that, but this is what regular medical science of today is proselytizing. This works amazing. What? So the whole idea is that that's what we are looking at here. So the whole idea in this ruse of Orgone, these little tiny bits of stuff was put in, was all a big farce. This was all put together, which was basic radionic technology, to convince people. This was told me personally by Welts, who thought it was all a little joke, and that he was going to push this from his Austrian originality back, where Hitler came from. And, of course, Wilhelm Reich was Austrian. He was not German. And there is a big difference because of the kind of low-level realities we're talking about from these people. So Orgone in general has produced absolutely nothing. None of these machines have done anything. They are certainly basic radionic type machines, but they're not amplified properly. There's all sorts of problems with this, and if the inventor of it can't live past 78 or bring his wife past the middle 60s, something is wrong. I said many people who use these type of technologies, from the little pyramids to all the other stuff, have gotten sicker from it, or they haven't done anything with it. So while Orgone is interesting, and I do find cloud busting fascinating, and is there a type of technology that can create rain, which they claim that you can create rain with these Orgone? Well, we have to look into that and find out if there's a validity there. Can we accumulate Orgone safely? I don't think so, not the way that the discoverer of that energy has done it. But it would be interesting to research this in a classical fashion. Not a bunch of powder, not some resin little pyramids with some stones in it and a couple of wires. All this stuff is comical. And people have bought this by the thousands thinking there's something there. It's really the rabbit foot of the 90s when it came out. Oh, the good luck charm. And there are people making these things and selling them for a few dollars all over the place, particularly apparently in Africa, where people buy this stuff thinking it's a great energy and a good luck charm. Well, if these work even on a tiny, subtle energy basis, they are bringing in toxic, terrible energies. So, just what Africa needs. So more illness, sickness, and disease, or anybody else who invests in this kind of junk technology that has produced absolutely nothing. And we see that from the people involved in it and from the organizations that continue to sell this junk. So we have to be very, very careful of what we get involved in. But there's a long list of people that have used all types of Orgone products who are become sick from it. You need to stay away from this stuff. There's nothing there. There is a potential danger. And this potential danger can be extreme depending on what you're doing and how you're using it. Certainly nobody has gotten anywhere I've seen some fake reports, as far as I'm concerned, which have been alleged to be fake and created, of people using this for bodybuilding, for other things, and how. What nonsense! And what proof is there? These are just statements from people that are posted up on websites. The bottom line is that linked to this new Orgone is a whole new entire group of evil Satanists who are doing sick and debased processes. They're involved in pedophilia by the thousands, are involved in this. They are involved in criminal activities. Now, whatever Orgone had connected to it, modern Orgonists have connected it to the lowest level garbage there is. So if you're using any kind of these products, you're in danger. I highly recommend that you get one of our clearing templates, place your items on there, and this may work for you depending on the level of toxicity, which can take these machines and neutralize the kind of bad energies that are in the machines, the little pyramids, whatever it is. I mean, they've made Orgone out of everything. That you place your items on there and then test them to make sure they've been neutralized. That negative spin that I get from all of these products, which is the counterclockwise spin, is corrected to a clockwise spin. It's all there. Now watch for the link to this actual product and make sure you get it. Now this is not just a potent symbolic sigil. We add to these things with our new technologies, pure clean tachyons, neutrons, and even low-level gravitons, which do not grab onto the pollutions in the atmosphere. Tachyons and neutrons are massive amounts of these in your environment. They are moving extremely fast, and they do not collect negative energy from the atmosphere. Gravitons themselves tend to amplify things as well. It's a very subtle energy, but combined with tachyons and neutrons, which we have these particular cells of energy of these things that are placed upon this powerful sigil plate, what it does is it creates a fantastic purifying and empowering. So any type of machine you have, even if you don't have a particular one of these machines, Orgone machines, will amplify and clear out any machine you've gotten from anybody, and this is a serious problem. People get these things to improve their lives, to make things better, to bring success, to bring well-being, and what they end up is getting a tool that produces deadly Orgone. Or they're just negative in general. These machines don't produce good energy. I found many radionic machines that weren't even Orgone based, and they have a spin of counterclockwise. That means they produce negative energy. Well, you can change that by using one of these plates, and you can put anything on top of this to empower it. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you have, and you'll get that positive spin. It's all wonderful. So you can do that. But if you have one of these cheap, crappy products made by most likely some sort of Satanist, you need this before using other things. You haven't got results. You're not feeling good. You think you get results. You're not thinking. You're just saying you bought something and you hope it works. Well, no matter what you have, even if it works in your mind, okay, you can clarify it, empower it by using this new technology, which I've been dealing with for over 40 years, technically 50 years. 53 years I've been in alternative science. And I've been in radionics for over 35 years. So I am the expert on the planet. I have written over 35 books, 5 courses. It's all there. I've done the research. And I'm into things that work and that build people's lives, no matter whom produces them. But we have to be careful because there's a lot of bad stuff out there. There's a lot of people that are just ripping you off. And most of them don't even have good intentions. They're just ripping you off and connecting you to Satan. Do you think you want to be connected to Satan? You like buying machines from Satanists, from EA Kinetic, a avowed Satanist. There's no question here. He comes out and says it. Yet you buy products from a guy like that. And then you wonder why your life turns to poo. Well, I don't wonder why. So you better make sure that you get this new technology to release and negate these bad energies through using this particular type of sigil and cell-empowered tools. Everybody needs this, no matter what machine you have from, to keep it. Because a lot of negative energies tend to go into machines as well. So, understand that this entire Orgone fraud was started by and pushed by the public by a known Satanist who ran a black magic order and tried to hide it, but not really. I mean, after all, that site is well known. E.A. Kineting, the number one Satanist on the planet today, comes out and states that his mentor was Carl Hans Weltz. Now, it doesn't come from me. I'm not have sour grapes. I'm not trying to go after my competition. I never had a competition. I've done very, very well for myself. And those fools who bought trash, you're going to pay the price now. I warned you. You're not going to even live as long as your master did. You should count your hours. I'd recommend anybody that has this trash contact me so I can help you further eliminate these evil, crossed, satanic energies that are now permeated you, your family, and anybody who's come in contact with this technology. So I recommend you contact me so I can help you further, but you must have this new technology because this is critical for your well-being. If you're going to deal with the devil, then you're going to pay the price, whether you like it or not. That's the reality that we have. So get your life together. Understand all this. Understand the fraud of Orgone. If you have Orgone products, you make sure you check them. You make sure that you use this template so you can clear out any negativity. Anything that accumulates energy. Now, our tachyon cells are antennas. They don't accumulate, they direct it. And of course, higher energy, high vibration energies do not pick up garbage. Orgone does. If you want a pure field of energy around you and so forth, we'll use our tube amplifiers that make a Schumann resonance out there. These create natural earth energies. They generate it from a tube. They're putting out the Hertzian energy in a very pure fashion. They are pure generators of what you would consider positive energies that the earth produces, that everything that survives and prospers and grows is in this energy field. And it's not accumulated from somewhere else. You make it. It's a generator. It's a tube amplifier giving the purest possible resonance you can. These are all the things that are available to you and highly recommended that you get on the team, that you start taking control of your life and start getting rid of toxic garbage that you bought from people who have led you down the wrong path and will continue to. And by the way, from what has been alleged to me, Carl Hans Wells has been very sick for a long time. He just didn't die at 75. You just don't feel good one day and drop over the next. What has been told me is he's been sick for over 15 years. So where does that put you back? In your late 50s? This is the kind of nonsense that you will run into from these things. But buyer beware. I've warned you people, deal with credible, good, honest people working for the light, or you're going to get bit in the butt. And it just may, take you down for the count. So feel free to contact me if you have these tools so I can help you further. And we'll do the best we can to do that, but you're probably going to need some additional help, but you're going to definitely need our clearing sigils. Until next time.